Okay, we're back. Let's do a
Back.
quick test, make sure everything's okay. Um, wait for, give us Kevin Will for your cue. Let's do it online. See if we're synchronized. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2,
Check, check,
1, 2, 1, 2,
check, check, check.
1, 2, 1, 2. Tell you something funny. Well, like, oh man, so Marquita brought this cornbread. Man, it was blueberry cornbread, bruh. She brought some in, snuck Shabisha some in like she was like a 007. Didn't even share with brothers and sisters around here. Rest of us going, I'm about to go home and have no corn. You told me to share, so let me. You don't even have a microphone. Can I finish talking? Anyway, this kind of where I live in. You know what I'm saying? I can't get a piece of cornbread around here. Look, what? Man, I didn't get none. Man, look here. I'm going to go to the store and just buy me some sunflower seeds. That way I can feel like I got something. You know what I'm saying?
I need some more caramel sauce, Marquita.
Wow. She tried to put brother against brother. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Man.
See?
We're going to work it out. We're going to work it out. Oh, we good? Okay, we good. Hey, y'all, sorry about that.
We're waiting for people to come, though, so y'all can just keep.
Oh, we can keep going for a minute?
Talk about your German chocolate cake that you brought into the office and didn't share and watched us eat it. We had to watch him eat this cake as he bragged about how good it was.
Did she just try to give it hella meaning?
She did.
And this is what's wrong with trying to make lead taste good. It was nothing but lead,
She
baby.
learned from the best.
Hey, look here. That's
She
all it
learned it
was.
from the best.
And listen, and if Shabisha says one thing, I promise you, because her hand is up like she about to have a.
know what
she
that
what-
hand mean?
Yeah. All I gotta say. How close are we now? We pretty close? Are people coming online yet?
We're online. We're just trying to get folks over. That's
Okay. All right, you guys text people over real quick. All right, we're gonna give it just a second for folks to make the adjustment. Okay, let me know when I can, because I'm sitting here looking at lights and the wall. Man, y'all ready to get this started again? You ready? This is. Hey, can't folks start like 5 minutes behind? Okay,
Let's
we
go.
good? All right, let's go. You ready, Shabisha? All right, Sister Shabisha, we're gonna flow into this. So, okay, let's get back to this. So with the tech, I guess last thing we left off was talking about the technician and his model after the present day world. You want to close out that one?
Yeah.
I kind of talked myself to death.
So
check.
I had a girlfriend who she had this philosophy in her mind that every job that she worked at, if she was to decide to quit, the company would fall apart. It would go on. So in her mind, I have to hang on to this company because I like them as people. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, you're not that important, but I'm not going to say it. And then she falls out with them, and then she quits to let them really feel the pain of her presence, and they just going about just fine and keep shit pushing. And it doesn't it's not like she even would learn that lesson of like, damn, I thought I was going to really make a dent in not being her, and they just figured shit out without me. And she go to the next company and have the same mentality, because technicians a lot of times overvalue their role and severely undervalue the role of the rest of the company, because they only seen it through this sliver of light, and most of that is just on them. So that's why it's very hard to have a vision and to recognize that today was somebody's vision. Today was somebody's vision. So the only thing most technicians can do is look this way and know that tomorrow is just a reflection of today, and that's it. And I have no control over it. And all my job is to do my work and to complain about everything else. So understand if you overvalue. Now let me backtrack, and I'm stuttering because I just took a right in my brain, and that is when you take that into entrepreneurship. A lot of times we build our own brands, our own companies with that same technician mindset. Is that without this company, everything's going to fall apart. Even though you may have employees, your job is to back away to where your company can run without you. And now you're an entrepreneur. If you haven't figured out a way to build systems in your company yet, then you're stuck in that technician mindset and stuck in your ego.
Next one.
Each step in the development of such a business is measurable, if not quantitatively, at least qualitatively. There's a standard for the business, a form, a way of being that can be translated into things to do today that best exemplifies it. The business operates according to articulated rules and principles. It has a clear, recognizable form. With the technician's perspective, however, the scale is narrower, more inhibited, confined principally to the work being done.
I think that's one of the ones almost says everything it needs to say, which is, it's. Let me explain to you what the difference. When I first started this business, Pite Media, I had a way of like taking a photo, editing a photo, and getting it back to a client. But I didn't have a reason for everything else in the business. It was like I was here trying to hit a lick and then finish that job off and go to the next one, as opposed to seeing myself as building something that has a way of doing things the way it shows up. And all those, and I understood the reason why it didn't show up that way, to validate, to create an impression about my business. I was more or less focused on creating an impression about my service over creating an impression about my business. Next one.
As a result, the technician's business becomes increasingly oppressive, less exhilarating, closed off from the larger world outside.
So what happens is that when you work like that, it really becomes like, you feel like you're trapped. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs like, I feel like I'm trapped. I don't even want to be here no more. And they're not trapped. The problem is that when they go to work every day, they go to work to do a job. They're not building something. And so the world you live in, we know an entrepreneur right now is like, I don't want to do this no more. Because you built your job, you built your business to create a job for yourself, and you see value in what you do every day. And because you're not building this system, then you're only focusing on getting the job done, not this adventurous thing of building something, creating something, growing into something, and evolving into something that's going to change your whole perception of your existence. So when you start a business, quite often, you're not amplifying what you do all the time. You're creating a system. It's almost like you're creating a human being that services people, not what you do is important. Like he said, when you could take you out of the conversation, you put yourself in a position to create something where people have this dependency on something that you're delivering, and this thing that you're delivering is it's a system that shows up as an individual show to somebody, but because it's a system, it's much more robust than any individual could actually ever provide. It's a big, big difference. Where if you just do your job, you get trapped into just doing the same thing. And this is why most photographers burn out, because they're technicians. Most photographers are technicians. And so 10 years, the reason they walk away from the game is because they get tired of taking pictures. They get tired of working with the models and getting their hair done and setting the lighting and going different locations. It gets boring. It's a whole different thing when you're moving as a business or as an entrepreneur versus a technician. Next one.
Routine becomes the order of the day. Work is done for work's sake alone, forsaking any higher purpose, any meaning for what needs to be done, other than the need to just do it. The technician sees no connection between where his business is going and where it is now.
So at the end of the day, you're working for A's. You're just trying to get A's. You made a customer happy. You did a good job. That's one thing you like when you run your business. You're just trying to do a good job. You're so possessed with doing a good job or producing the perfect product. Sometimes, let's make it even take it even worse. Sometimes you're over focused on impressing your peers. So you're not trying to focus on the customer. You're trying to show the peers I'm just as good as you guys are, or I can make. Like, for example, like say if Corey Smith was in it, Corey would be like, I'm just as tight as Nike. Look at my new shirt. His customer may not even want that kind of shirt, right? So you get so caught up in like, you got A's, you got somebody to praise you. It's really you're driving towards your ego more than you're driving towards the customer.
Yeah, and this is a dangerous place to be because this also is where depression can set in. Because if you're a technician, when you look back at what you've accomplished, and you look inward and realized how sad, depressed, angry you are, part of you is like, damn, I know I should be grateful for what I have or where I come, but I'm not. Matter of fact, I'm sad and I'm not happy. So fuck, something must be wrong with me. And so a lot of times entrepreneurs and people in the working world get stuck into that conundrum and they lose their meaning. They lose their focus. They lose their motivation because they think they've accomplished, they got to a certain level of accomplishment, but they still are super unhappy, because they don't realize that their work lacks purpose. So there's a couple different theories out, but in terms of like what humans need, right? Some people say there's 6 human needs, or Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, and you know there's connection and love, but down there at the bottom of those human needs is contribution and purpose. And so if, you know, some people can say they like money all day, but at the end of the day, most humans, I will venture to say all humans, need some kind of purpose, need to feel fulfilled in what they're doing. And when the money gets old, I remember I was doing something in mortgage, real estate or shit. I was making stupid money. And I quit because I was bored. Like this doesn't mean nothing to me. I don't feel any type of fulfillment. I gotta be doing something to feel fulfilled or like I'm adding value to the world. And if I don't care how much money it is. And I've proven that to myself. And a lot of times a technician, because we talked about 2 slides ago, they have such a small sliver of the world. They don't even know they may be making a huge impact, but their perspective is so narrow that they can't even see it.
Yeah, you know the thing is also too is let's say you're taking jobs just for money, or you had jobs you didn't like, but you just had to do it because you had to pay the bills. You disconnected from what you do and where you're going, and when you become an entrepreneur, that becomes a mental prison for you. Where when you start to run your business, you get caught up in just doing the jobs as to where you're going with this. Like, why are you even doing this? What's the long-term plan? Like the then what question? Like once you do this, then what? And then what? And then what? And it's because you're not really planning and looking at you're changing reality and you're building something that will service the community that you're living in. You're looking at it as just every day to go someplace where you can protect your status, survive, make money, do what you want to do, and you lose track of time, where you are, where you're going. And you can sound very philosophical. I would almost argue that most of us who have received business advice from the community have received business advice from technicians, not entrepreneurs. Because the technicians will tell you, like, you know what's wrong with entrepreneurs? This is what people need to do. That's technician kind of talk. Entrepreneur talk is when you say something, it's connected to something. It's like there's this interconnectivity of ideas that are like branching to this trunk of our core ideas. And where this self-help is very fragmented. And it's so fragmented that the advice that's flowing in from different sources, quite often, it leads you into a role of being a technician. So a lot of times people like, as an entrepreneur, you got to work. Like we use the word entrepreneurs loosely, and most of us don't know what it means. But even a lot of programs that are trying to help entrepreneurs are trying to work with technicians. And so you don't realize that you live in a world that's technician heavy, And to move in this space where you're moving and thinking like an entrepreneur, like when we're talking about all these media cases, and whether it's social justice, whether it's police brutality, whether it's anything, when you're discussing it, doesn't seem like it's business. We're trying to get you to develop an integrated look at how life works and how this interconnectivity, because that's the way you have to think as an entrepreneur. Otherwise, when you're working every day, you're literally you have this false sense of where you're going, but you're actually walking blind. Next one.
Lacking the grander scale and visionary guidance manifest in the entrepreneurial model. The technician is left to construct a model each step of the way.
So start right there. So when you don't have this idea where you're going and why you're going there, you literally don't. Okay, I've seen this happen before. Where have you been around a friend and they don't really own their why, but every time you talk to them, the why kind of changes, right? or their brain won't remember what they told you last year, and it's different this year. This is what happens in your business. When you don't have a very clear vision of where you're going, you will start making up why you're going that way. Because yes, your ego trying to protect that you're somebody when you're not sure who the fuck you really are.
Yo. Hey, it's reminding me of, the youngsters might not know this, but have you ever played Tetris? You guys know what Tetris is? You ever played Tetris? And it's a game where you get different shapes and you have to line those shapes up to where they all form a row and the row disappears, and then and the name of the game is just keep dropping the rows down. It's two ways to play the game. Is to wait until the shape forms and then you decide what to do with it. And it's also, you wait till the shape forms, but you also look to the right in a little box. It tells you what's coming next. It tells you what's coming. So some people just play with what they got. Here's coming. All right, put it down. Here's coming. Put it down. But some people take an extra split second and look over to see what's coming next, because now they can make different moves. Well, I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to move it over here because I know that one I can place under here. And when you play it like that, the game opens up way different for you. And so technicians only see the sliver of what's coming. And so now they got to make changes every time. But entrepreneurs, some shit don't even look good on the surface for the outside. You might get clout for it. People may talk shit to you about it. But you know, for the greater good or for the good of your vision, it's all good.
You know what gets really bad is when it's time to start learning how to use negative thinking as part of your strategy. You can't do it. Because you got to know when to say no or when to push things to the edges based upon context. You got to have context. But if you're just living day to day, there's no context. So without long-term vision, you lose context, and you get into moral decisions. You get into transactional decisions, because all you're trying to do is. And here's the thing: you know how you destroy a business is you communicate to the client that you're transactional. That's the number one. Okay. If you have, who you think we're going to trust more? Let's say you walk down the street and you're in a strange town and you see a guy on a cart that's selling burgers, just a cart, roll-up cart. And you look across the street and there's a spot well lit with a big sign that says selling burgers. Where you going to get your burger from, more than likely? You go to a place that's well lit, the sign, right? Why is that? Because you know if you get sick, you know where to find that person. Mm-hmm. The guy in the cart, he can give that burger and walk the fuck off, and you'll never see him again, right? The guy in the car is also signaling something to you. I'm in this for the transaction, and then I'm moving on. The other guy's made an investment in the space. Now let me show you they take it another level. Let's say there's 2 burger spots now when you look to the left, and you decide I'm going to the one that's, because in the end I'm trying to avoid loss. I'm trying to engage in a version of loss aversion, meaning I don't want to get sick. I want to make sure I have something I can sue. But one person spent hella money on tables, has beautiful signs. They have a wall decor. They have wood on the wall that can tell high quality wood. The floors are well done, and everybody has beautiful uniforms. The counter is beautiful. The plate displays are beautiful. Another spot has paper plates. It's clean, but the walls look like they just took a cookie cutter out of Walmart and just slammed it in there and opened up the doors. Why do you go to the one that's really fancy? We already know what the answer is. It's because you said if they invested this much money, they're trying to be around for some time. The other one that invests that much money, they're very transactional. So eventually, the one that refuses to invest in their business sends a message that they don't care. They also send a message that they're transactional over relationship building. And so you can't get into like these deeper strategies if you're not looking at the long game. If you focus on, that's why the hustling talk, don't knock the hustle and hustle talk, that's all short-term thinking. So a lot of us go into business and we start talking about, well, at least they're getting paid. Well, you got to respect the man's money, get out of that man's pocket. That's a disease in our community. It's too short-term. Next one. Oh, finish that one.
But the only model from which to construct it is the model of past experience, the model of work. Exactly the opposite of what he needs if the business is to free him of the work he's grown accustomed to doing.
Yo, Jake Paul and Ben Askren, right? The fight that happened this past weekend. Some people don't even know about it. Jake Paul used to be a YouTube star, just created kind of an influencer, kind of YouTube sensation kind of personality doing pranks and shit. But he built a $1 billion, a billion person following, just doing silly pranks. But then he was already an athletic kid, but then in the midst of that, late teenage, he started boxing. Later on, he started calling out boxers to fight. And guess what happened? He got a fight, right? Now, Ben Askren's a professional MMA fighter. They just fought. So Jake Paul made $700,000 in one night off that fight from pay-per-view buys and all of the shit that popped off. So all the MMA fighters are like, that's not fair. Some fighters make $100K or $50K or $200,000 max for their fights. And he's like, I've been fighting since I was 5 years old and I make $200K on my fights. And this dumbass prankster that got 3 professional fights made $700K in one night. That's because this guy is an entrepreneur. He had a vision of what he wanted to build and he did it on his own from scratch and he built it. And so he was able to name his price versus being a technician is I fight, hope get put on by UFC. UFC puts me on. I take whatever they give me and hopefully they like me and I keep working and winning so that they can give me more money. And when shit pops off in a way that I don't like it, I scream it's not fair. But entrepreneurs look at it and like, that was dope. He's an entrepreneur. And until you see it from that perspective, you're going to stay being a tech.
And you guys now, from also reading this paragraph, that work really hard. Stop trying to get A's. This is business. It's not about A's. It's about strategy. It's like we live in a society where people are so proud. I got an A because I participated, or I got my participation ribbon because I worked really, really hard. That shit don't matter. It's all about strategy in this game. I mean, you can almost work not at all and be successful in business if you understand business. So this whole idea of, and where the technician values work. That's why you talk to the technician entrepreneurs, all they want to do is talk about how hard they work. It's like they almost start the conversation about how hard they worked that week. Yeah, I just came back from Chicago. I had like meals on top of meals. I got a couple hours of sleep in between. I had to eat actually on the plane and stuff. But hey, man, I'm here, man. What's going on with you, man? How's the family? Like, that's literally how we talk.
Yep. Grinding.
Right. It's like that there is not what we're teaching here. We're not teaching you how to be the hardest worker. We're trying to teach you how to be the smartest worker. Next one.
Said another way, the entrepreneurial model has less to do with what's done in a business and more to do with how it's done.
Stop. That's a hard one for people to understand.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's is a good example for this one. Some people will make burgers and they become so passionate about the perfect burger. The burger has to be good. But the thing is, what we forget is McDonald's keeps his promise. They keep their promise. And they focus on the human experience when you engage their burger. I'm talking about they study to how the paper feels when it unwraps, how long it's going to take for you to eat it, how the pickle and the ketchup is going to spill when you bite into it. Every little detail is thought out. Where technicians go wrong is they can't wait to design this beautiful, delicious, amazing burger that no one's ever had, and oh my God! And then when people give them feedback, they're almost offended because this is you just obviously don't know what a good burger is. I mean, great burgers. You know, these customers, they just how do you get on my nerves? They ask for all these changes. That's not what I designed. That's the problem. It's like you're thinking about your business as a football team winning a game, not Tom Brady winning a game. Big difference. Go ahead, the commodity. Go ahead.
The commodity isn't what's important. The way it's delivered is.
That in itself, if you took time to think about the human experience when they engage your product and service, all the way down to the time they go talk to their friend, you analyze all that and you invest in changing that experience so you control that full experience, that's running a business. Not, man, you see how like let's just use car detailing because it's something very simple. You can focus easily on the that you use chemical guys and you have the finest polish machine and that you could do it under you could polish a whole car under 2 minutes, and you're not thinking about what is my emotional state when I come to you, while you're touching my car, and when I leave you, and do you own those 3 conversations? If you don't own that, because here's the thing, your work can decrease by 30%. Meaning that you can hire somebody who can do 30% less of a job for you, and you can focus on how the service is delivered, and your business could do 100 times better. Meaning your skills can go down, but the customer experience goes up, and all of a sudden your business takes off. Keep going.
When the entrepreneur creates the model, he surveys the world and asks, where's the opportunity? Having identified it, he then goes back to the drawing board and constructs a solution to the frustrations he finds among a certain group of customers.
Whoa, frustrations you see amongst a certain group of customers. Go ahead. We could almost feel that in our blood. We know what that is. Go ahead.
A solution in the form of a business that looks and acts in a very specific way. The way the customer needs it to look and act, not the entrepreneur.
The way the customer needs to look and act. And that act has to be, okay, for example, have you ever went out with somebody who was amazing on the first date, maybe the second date or third date, and then 6 months of the relationship, you wish you never even seen this person? What, at the end of the day, let's not get into what they did, but what is absolutely known, I'm going to use my super skills. They were inconsistent. What you experienced the first day, was that what you experienced the 5th day, the 30th day, the 400th day? There was a change of consistency. Oh, my mind's powerful. I can see it. So with that being said, I don't want to use all my skills because I don't want Josh getting jealous. But what I am suggesting to everybody is that when you bring a business, you can't be inconsistent. That means that's why you have to systematize everything. So if a customer says hi to you, if I tell my friend you got to go to that have experience with that same business, you have to systematize it so everybody has the same experience. When you walk into McDonald's, you know how to fuss when something's not right because you got used to the system.
Yeah. So the key underlying value here is that this shit can't be about you.
Not at all.
The whole experience has to be about the customer. So when you create a model, you're putting out your first pass of what you think will be successful to the market. I think this is my first run. This is my version 1, Rev 0. And you sit back and wait. And how you upgrade your model comes from your customers. Hey, what'd you think about the experience? How was it? Let me hear about tell me what you didn't like about it. Oh, I loved it. Okay, well, you loved it. That's dope. But if you could give me one thing that you can improve, what would it be? Because you want that feedback. And as you gather that data, you go back to your drawing board and be like, all right, my Rev 2 is going to be dope. This is going to be the one. I'm going to make sure I get all the bugs out. Everybody's going to be happy. And you put that shit out. Boom. And then you'll see new complaints emerge that come from your new revisions and some blind spots you didn't even see. You're like, fuck. All right, cool. All right, dope. I got 5 more things to fix. And you play this game with yourself forever. forever.
Forever.
It don't ever stop. And the minute you think you're a genius and you figured out all the bugs, the world changes, or fucking something gets blown up and the rules change or laws change or something. So you'll always be running this back in your business, and that's the beauty of it. That's the
Yeah, it's the beauty of it. And here's the thing. Y'all ever heard me say, fuck your life? I think I've offended some people the first 2 months when I said, man, fuck your life. That's my way of telling you that you think you're too fucking important. You just think you're too... People come to me, sit down with me, and talk to me about business all the time. And what I thought I was wanting to do, and what I believe, the reason I started... See, my grandmother taught me, and and I'm thinking, excuse me, fuck your life. Fuck my life? Yes. If you say fuck your life, you can see the strategy. The problem is you can't see it because your life is too fucking important. That's called ego. Next one, please.
Thus, the entrepreneurial model does not start with a picture of the business to be created, but of the customer for whom the business is to be created.
Let's say that again. Read that one more time. That's that one right there. I think that's what I said to Shakina the last week. Say that again.
Thus, the entrepreneurial model does not start with a picture of the business to be created, but of the customer for whom the business is to be created.
Hey, I started this company because my vision and who I am, and God blessed me. So I'm just gonna bless you with my skills and talents and ability and my food, all that shit. And then you wonder why you get crickets everywhere you go.
Grandiosity.
Because nobody really gives a fuck about you. Now, some people get super lucky because your pains or your problems or what you do matches a vibration of a group of people, but that's luck and that's rare. How you control that your environment or your success is you're constantly looking for the vein, your vein of customers. Your vein, that's your gold right there. And you digging for your gold. And there's no gold ores here. Let me move. You're not just gonna keep digging down the motherfucking hole to the center of the fucking earth. Because the God told you, or you think that this is there, and so your calculation said that this is where the gold is. Like, fuck your calculations. You was wrong. Keep moving and adjusting based on where your customers are. Where are they? How can I show up better for them? How can I serve them better? How can I serve you better?
Lower your ego.
And if we don't come from a place of service, it's hella hard to find your pool of customers. Is hella hard.
Look, the reason we put so many emotions behind this is because this is a major killer of businesses.
Yeah.
This ain't like sometimes this happens. This is one of the most dominant destroyers of business. It's people trying to push their beliefs, their value, who they are. And for our people, it's worse. Here's something that can create a huge distortion why you might not be able to these might not resonate with you. Let me help you understand. Most black businesses they said on average, black businesses make about $27,000 a year. On average. So on average, that means that at some point you made a little bit of money. Now you're really trickling amongst the bottom. But you're not autocorrect, because you might think, well, I run my business because I believe in myself. Yeah, look at your numbers. Number two, you might be in the middle of a hype cycle. I mean, you might be at a point where that luck hit, where your idea happened to land with where people wanted to go, and you had a quick surge. But then competition got wind that, hey, this is where everybody's going, and they hit that same market, and then you fell completely far off. Why? Because you didn't focus on customers. You was trying to do more of this thing that made you successful. Not realizing that where you need to make adjustment is stop thinking about you and become possessed. The reason I didn't say, are you focused on customers? I didn't say, are you observing customers? I didn't say, are you talking to customers? I use a specific word, which is, are you possessed with your customers?
Yeah.
I'm talking about possessed. Meaning that you want to know how often they breathe. I mean, you want to know every possible thing. And here's the thing, that research never stops.
Yep.
It never stops. People quite often don't hire, a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs who are technicians. There's technician-focused companies who really like what they do, right? And they just matter of time before they become BlackBerry or Sears and Roebuck or Kmart or all these Woolworths, Wards, now Sprint. It's a matter of time before these businesses go away. Why? because they fall in love with what they do. Even Comcast, their days are numbered. Why? Because Comcast communication it's about us providing this great service for you. So who cares about your discomfort? This is why the bill, at the end of the day, we're saving you a cost because this experience we're providing for you. That in itself was horrible because that communication was designed to protect them, not figure out what emotional language you need to hear to make you feel comfortable about engaging them. And so at the end of the day, what we're missing is that you can even grow sometimes for a little while with this very selfish focus. It's just that once the competition comes and that competition focuses on customer, you're going to die off. You're just going to die. Even if you can have a great product and great services and not survive. Because at the end of the day, you forgot about the most important part of business, which is the psychology of human beings.
Black folks, I love the fuck out of you. I do. To the core.
Seriously, he does.
But that's that's some shit we got to get past. And it's several reasons. We've been slaves all our life. I ain't being a servant to nobody. Like, it's hella different reasons why. But unless we shift that mentality, we're going to forever be stuck at the bottom 3%, point something percent of society. We have to be willing to shift our mentality to have a servant, to be a servant leader, My artists, like, I don't just be sitting up here quoting Grand National and Irk and all that shit because they hear, like, that's what's in my car all the fucking time because I love that shit. That shit slaps. That shit needs to be national, multinational, international. But we got to work on the part of the game to where let's figure out where these customers are. Let's expand. Let's get more creative because the music don't got to change because that shit's crazy. But we got to figure out where our customer veins are and get creative and play with the marketing. Where we moved is downtown. Majority white people. I have brought some potential future clients to the office, and one of them is a big time celebrity, right? 200 or whatever million followers on Instagram. So I'm waiting for them, but there's a little ice cream thing in the middle of the parking lot on the way to my office. Slocum, whatever the fuck. So they stop off at the little ice cream spot to get ice cream before coming into the office to meet with me. The girl inside the thing, she got dreads, girl with dreads. I think she fired, and I feel bad if she did, but whatever. She tells them, back away. Get the fuck, put your mask on. God damn. And so the lady, the woman who I was waiting to meet with was like, okay, it's cool. I'm just trying to find it in my purse. Well, you should have it on by now. Shit. So she pulls out her phone and Instagrams the shit. Takes a picture of the thing. Hey, if you guys, I'm visiting Oakland. If you're ever in Oakland, never come to this place. And it get like 50,000 likes, right? So then the company says, oh no, we're so sorry. Like, this should never happen. Like, email me and we'll resolve it. And so I'm like, look, she was gone. I went to her manager. I'm like, did you know who she just said that to? No, who was she? Look at, oh shit. Yeah, you just look at what's going on in the text. Oh shit, and I'm the store manager. Yeah. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna fix that. But it all comes down to service mentality. It's a way you can say shit. It's passive no's like he been teaching this whole fucking time. It's ways that you still get what you want, but it comes from a service mentality. It don't make you no weak person. Matter of fact, for me learning from this brother, I'm way more powerful because I don't even give a shit. And then at the end of the conversation, you knew I was in control because the shit you said didn't even faze me. And I just nudged you over where I wanted you to be. So, fuck that ego machismo bullshit as an entrepreneur. Serve it. It's not like you got to even code switch either. No. Hey, white guy, how are you? You ain't got to do none of that shit.
No,
you can still do you and be you. You know what I'm saying?
But that's where you're born. If you're born in a white neighborhood, say you talk, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing that, you born next to me, and you doing that shit, and I catch you, I'm gonna give you that sucker look. Anyway, let's close out to this last one, then we'll jump over to ego. We'll say questions to the end so we can kind of roll because we had this sound whoop to whoop happen. So hit the next one.
All right, whoop-de-whoop. The entrepreneurial model understands that without a clear picture of that customer, no business can succeed.
So this is, and I would almost say clear video of that customer. I don't think your picture is good enough. I think picture may be a shortcoming of this phrase. You should have a clear video of your customer, not static, meaning that you get a snapshot. Because I think a snapshot sometimes gives you this limited view. You should gain such a deep knowledge of your customers that that is almost the entry. That is almost the entry of business so you won't start a business as a technician. If you start a business and you're focusing on what you're about to create for people, even if it means the best intent, let's say you're a wonderful person and you at home baking cookies and you're like, man, they're gonna love these cookies, and you taste them and your friends are like, oh, these some cool cookies, and you're like, man, I'm gonna bring these cookies and it's gonna sell, right? And then they don't say, you're like, oh, it's just a matter of time. I was like, okay, you're starting a technician path. But if you say to people, like my son was talking to me the other day, and he has a sale, he's baking now. By the way, this cat did a cheesecake last weekend. So I'm a cheesecake snob. Like the best cheesecake I ever had was in New York. My son, whatever. My son, this cat, he can be all sensitive and stuff. He me too me over here. But the point is this, so, but check this out. He makes this cheesecake, bruh. It tastes like Italian New York cheesecake. Cat spent like 6-7 hours making this cheesecake for us. Oh, dude, this kid of mine is just going crazy with this baking shit. Anyway, but he's about to do this sale this weekend, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna make cinnamon rolls at a coffee. This coffee company has him come in once a month and sell his products. So he's been selling cinnamon rolls. I was like, son, with coffee, you gotta think about what sweets best serves that community and their taste bud around coffee and coffee drinkers, right? And so you want to get flavors that complement the coffee. Number two, you might want to survey people and get a feel for like what are their favorite sweets when they're having coffee. That way, the mindset, and on top of that, pay attention to like this is an earthly crowd. So you want to make it look as earthly and handmade and coming from like literally you just planted seeds in dirt and waited for the tree to grow, and then you plucked the leaf and you grind it up and made them a cookie, right? And like because that's the kind of story they want to tell themselves, right? Like I'm teaching them out the gate. The customer is going to tell you what you need to make and how you need to make it, how you need to present it. You don't dictate that. Once you start dictating that, it's like, like you guys think displaying your business like displaying your clothing. When you display your clothing, quite often you can't wait to show your friends how fly you are. Mm-hmm. We don't realize that, no. In this game here, you're dressing for your friends based upon their expectations. And if they don't call you fly, you not fly. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. And don't get me wrong, you can change things, but even changing things still requires deep insights on a customer. I mean that you can go back to the gold. You can turn lead into gold, but you still got to understand the nature of the mind and the psychology of the customer you're trying to serve. Otherwise, even your PR tricks and your alchemy will not work because you're not in alignment on who you're trying to serve. Like honestly, get with your Muhammad's and Jesus, and you'll be way closer to being an entrepreneur. Because let's just be real, black folks don't really get down with Christianity the way they say they do. If they really did, we probably wouldn't be here. If we really was rocking with the Christ and the Muhammad discussions, what happens is we rock with Christ and Muhammad when it's convenient. But when it comes to, it's like Christ is Christ is a martial arts school we go to, but we get in the streets, we windmill. And if we learn to just rock with these ideas and use that special kick that he taught you, and that special duck move he taught you, and that humble move he taught you, that humility move he taught you, that love move he taught you, that caring about others, if you took some of that stuff, when he asked you, when he said, hey, the ultimate move is how do you serve God is by serving your brothers and sisters. If you took those moves and rocked those moves in the streets, man, you become Fu Leroy all over again.
Yo, bro, real talk. It's like, this shit is not suggestions. Like, this is what the formula is. This is the secret sauce. This is the gold. Like, it ain't nothing else that's special. Like, this is it. This is it. This probably is would be a huge level up for you in your business. I will venture to say, I put money on this shit, that if you haven't implemented this version or this portion in your business yet, and you still managing to hang on or survive through COVID or generate
this
some
is
revenue,
hot. Tell 'em, bro, this
if
is hot.
you implement this is a fucking huge level up in your business. I'll put money on it, because all the things that just came off, the humility, the asking, that creates a vibration in your customer that creates a law of reciprocation that's hard to rip. They almost feel like they're cheating on you if they go to another competitor. The best emails I get are the ones that say, "Hey, we just come back, we know we can get these cheaper," or I have a current supplier now that does these for us much cheaper, but we love your team and love your customer service, so we're willing to pay more. That means that we serve them so well that they see the value in our service, that they're willing to add on whatever extra is the difference between what they were paying here, and it's worth it. And there's no, there ain't no competing to that. And it's free. That's the thing. The upgrades in your business, you don't gotta buy new nothing in your store. You ain't gotta fucking buy
Yes.
new nothing in your store. That
Gold
costs
is
thousands, or
gold.
new cameras, or new this, but just smiling and say, "Really? Hey, how can I serve? Let me help you with that. Hey, how you doing?" And creating that. Man, come on, blood.
Lead into gold. I mean, that's literally a lead. Look, when you understand that you're not changing atomic particles, but you're changing the psychology of your business. And so I got a partner, I remember I had a partner who owns a restaurant. I was talking about his customer service. He's like, "Oh, I always ask the customers, how was the meal?" No, you can't just ask them. You got to study. You got to watch how they eat. What's the rhythm they're eating? Are they finishing their plates? When they take it home, are you inquiring, like, when they take this particular container home, what is that experience like? Is your logo in that container? Is it food leaking in the car? Right? When they put it in the refrigerator, does a container become soft and the food does the food change its texture and taste? So the next day when they eat it, it's like, what is this shit? Like, are you really so deep into the customer experience, or are you so in love with the way you've been doing business and your mama's recipes and how you think you're the best at what you provide and why you think your tables look hella tight and how you like your ambience and these new lights you just installed and that new DJ you just hired? Why are you buying this shit? Like, your budget of what you need to buy for your company should be first priority is what customers want. Second priority is some things you want to test. And here's the thing. Every year you should have to reinvent that because those customers are changing. So for example, let's say you got to look at your business like designing cars. The car you designed was hot when it came out. But guess what? People have moved on to a new type of car now. So if you're still rocking that old Benz with the square cuts and angles, well, shit, this new Lexus is about to put you out of business. Are you making those adjustments with your business? But we can't make those adjustments when you're trying to validate yourself in your business. This business is not designed to validate you. The business is not about you. The business is about serving customers, and then you benefit from the process. Let's jump into
Bro.
I'm gonna pause on entrepreneur.
That
Let's
shit
jump right into
crazy.
ego right away. Let's just get
That
right into
shit
it.
crazy.
Bro, go to slide number 20.
That shit crazy.
Go ahead. Now we're into ego's enemy. Readjust your emotional mind. We good?
You got to get that Dr. Dre.
It's a yellow one right there.
You got to get that Dr. Dre ad lib after certain shit like that and be like, "That was dope." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready? Let's do this. Let's go. Ego's enemy. Let's keep rolling because we're behind on time.
If your belief in yourself is not dependent on actual achievement, then what is it dependent on? The answer too often when we are just setting out is nothing. Ego.
I I had to walk away from my table for a second. This one here, this is if we was in the twilight zone of the black community. Because we are the opposite of this. We believe we're bosses, players, max, hustlers, builders, creators, movers and shakers. I'm the man. I'm running this shit. I'm a powerful black woman. I'm running this shit. What the fuck have you done? I'm Umar Johnson. I'm here to lead you. What the fuck have you done? Think about most of the black leaders you love. What the fuck have they done? They may have done something, but you follow them without a recipe. You know why? Or without not recipe, but you follow them without, what's the thing I'm looking for? Credentials. Why you don't expect credentials from them? Because you're used to moving in a world where everybody's moving on ego. We're not looking at ourselves for what we've done and humbling ourselves for what we have done. We are showing up for who we want to be or what we think we are, which means that we are stuck in like we are walking on cement every day, but our mind is gone. We see ourselves as something, and then we're sensitive. We motherfucking sensitive. We're sensitive because somebody says, hey, your shit ain't that good. Huh. Hey, you know, your photos look like shit. Huh. Hey, you know that cake you made? I gave it to my dog. He didn't eat that shit. Huh. And then here's the thing. You could have been, Nana, they talking about me, Nana. They hurt my feelings. Nana, I'm going to call Black Lives Matter because I'm offended because the guy who talked about me happened to be white. Huh. And then I say, hey, man, you know, that's kind of fucked up. You know, white people shouldn't talk about you like that, Leroy. Right? And all of a sudden, Leroy says, I said, Leroy, let me ask you a question. What is it, Nana, baby? I said, man, how often do you practice? Huh? Practice?
Shots fired!
Man, why do I need to practice for, Nana? That's who I am. I'm a chef, baby. We believe these fucking stories we tell ourselves. And then when we comment on them, we have the fucking audacity to be motherfucking offended. Look, man, you ain't shit ain't a bad fucking phrase. Because that means that if you have my kind of mindset, I have a growth mindset. If I ain't shit today, doesn't mean that tomorrow I ain't gonna be shit.
Man, facts.
Like if your car broke down right now and you said, Nana, you on your way home? I said, yeah. So Nana, can you just pull over and try to help me see what's wrong with my car? I said, sure. Now let's say my ego's operating and it's out of control. It's not domesticated. And I say, pop over your hood. All right, turn it over a couple times. All right, let me get some tools out my car. And you realize we've been there for an hour, ain't shit changed. You say, no, you ain't shit. Now, if I get offended, it's because I have an ego. But if Donna, who I know the fuck I am, my mechanical skills pretty much on these new cars fucking sucks. I'm going to ask you about a carburetor and a fuel injection. Or in a hybrid. Hey, where's the carburetor at this motherfucker? That's how much I know about these new motherfucking cars. But your ego will have you out there where you wasting everybody's time, and they get mad when a person says, you know, I'm just gonna call AAA. Wait, you don't have no faith in me? You don't have no faith in me? No, you should have faith in your fucking self. And guess what? You ain't shit. Doesn't mean you can't go to school and become shit, but at that moment, in front of that car, you ain't shit. If we could just say that, we can hurry up and get the lesson and become somebody. But we have gotten to this ribbon placement award motherfucking society where we just happy to be a part. Motherfucker told me in Seattle, can I just take a second and share this motherfucker's comment to me? Nana, I don't need to take a class about entrepreneurs because my friends are entrepreneurs. And I have a job working for them, and I get a chance to hear them talk, and I'm getting all the training I need. You ain't shit. If you can just say that, see, that's that humble space. I don't mind you telling me, Nana, you ain't shit in this area. Okay. That's a challenge for me. I'm coming. If I want it bad enough, I'm willing to invest emotional energy to become that. When you tell me I'm not good enough to be in this game, I don't take it as when I went to New York and I got shitted on, and they told me I wasn't qualified. They shitted on me. This is when I first started photography. I thought I had that big ass ego. Yes, I the fuck did, and I thought I was the shit because I was getting all this love and praise locally. And I went to New York to Milk Studios, the number 2 studio in the United States. It was one of the biggest photography studios where all the top fashion magazines was being shot. Man, them cats realized what I didn't know, and they went to work on my black ass. And these were white boys letting me have it. And you know what I realized? They gave me a rude awakening. I could have stopped and said, you know what? White people can't talk to me like this. This is what racist. I could have came back here and joined the red, black, and green anti-white people photography team. No, I didn't do that. I realized, I'm going to realign my fucking self. And I gave these white boys the right to talk shit to me because I wasn't shit. It wasn't them. I put myself in position they could fuck me over like this. And you know what I did? I came back and I started studying my shit. I learned my shit. I practiced my shit. I took my shit very, very serious. To the point I went back to New York and I was looking for them white boys. Because after 5 years later, I was on my shit. I was practicing my shit. And here's the thing, 5 years later, I was more humble than I was when I was walked in there the first time because I realized the more I learned, the more I realized I didn't know. So at this point, I'm humble, but I'm qualified now to have a conversation. Some of y'all will read one motherfucking book and think that y'all the motherfucking author of the game.
Yeah. Hey, your report card is your bank account. Your report card is your bank account. Look, your report card is not how many likes you get on Instagram, or how many followers you got, or how much praise you get when you're walking outside. That don't mean shit.
Because you ain't shit.
Your report card is your bank account, is your success. That's your metrics. So it's okay to say you ain't good enough. It's okay to say that. I say that sometimes in a funny way about myself or past things that I've tried and that I may have had some skill set in, but overall I didn't do good because I failed. Nigga, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough. And that's okay because now you create the space between where you are and where you want to be. Like some of the most success I had in the corporate world came from times when I tried to apply for shit and they laughed in my face. Oh shit. Really? That's how you feel about me? All right. I'm gonna go home and practice. And when I come back, I'm gonna light your ass up. And I may have zero skill. When I said I wanted to be an engineer with no degree, they laughed their ass off. Because you gotta know trigonometry, calculus, all these types of math when my high school education was remedial, slow class math A and math B. But I was so determined because I got laughed at to figure it out. So don't take any of that rejection as a thing to bring you down and
Come on, tell them.
Use it as fuel.
Stop being fucking sensitive. You know, the other day, man, real quick, I'm going to the next one. Go to the next slide, because I just want to say this real quick. I'm outside with my two and a half year old daughter, fly as hell, love her to death. She runs me. That's my boss. So my two and a half year old boss, we outside and she has one of those cycles where you just hold on and you kind of push. There's no pedals, right? But there ain't no training wheels. You just push and they learn to balance themselves early. So I'm watching her and I'm watching her with my neighbor and he's like, man, isn't it crazy how these kids have these new bicycles where by the time they're 4 or 5, they already know how to ride a bike. I said, damn. And he goes, yeah, I grew up in the city. I didn't know how to ride till I was 9. I was like, God damn, what happened? He said, well, I was in a big city and, it just wasn't safe and I was scared. I said, we get to a point where we're removing the process of walking into our fear. I said, I remember when I learned how to ride a bike and I learned how to ride a pogo stick. So if some of y'all don't know what a pogo stick is, it's this stick that bounces on a spring. And you
like
bounce
18.
around. Look here, man. Hey, you kiss my ass. Anyway, boys, listen. So, yeah. All right, Leroy. Anyway, but what I remember was the fear, the fall, the victory, and the joy. Right? And I remember the parent pushing me that when I fail to get up and do it again. And get up and do it again. And we kind of we're removing that from society. Because we don't want the kids, we're making the kids more fragile. Oh my God, he fell. No, buy him hella plastic gear. Oh my God, he fell. Oh my God, wrap his head like a genie. So if he falls, it'll be cushiony. Oh my God, he fell. What does this mean? You want to share your emotions with me, son? No. What the fuck wrong with you? We're creating this fragile space that we're losing something. And where am I going with this? We're so fragile now that if somebody gives you comments and feedback, we show up fragile. We're not realizing that the things you fear, joy is on the other side. The things you fear, joy is on the other side. Do you guys think that I stopped fearing shit? I still fear shit. But I learned to stand up and walk into fear. And that's where courage comes from. I'm jumping out of a plane this summer. I don't like heights. Somebody said, well, then why are you doing it? With their soft asses, they asked me a soft ass question. Why are you doing it? Tissue ass comments. Anyway, and my response was, because I'm scared of it. And the joy is on the other side.
It's amazing.
But this whole new culture where we cater to the fear and the discomfort, and we run towards and we run to our friend who pampers us and go, no, you don't have to jump. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. You know what? The ground is made for most of us anyway. You don't get your soft ass out of this conversation. So, soft and ego, horrible combination. Amen. Bad combination.
Yo,
Amen, brother.
Most nations were conquered by other nations. I'll rephrase it. Most great nations that were conquered by other nations throughout history came from a space of over time, they got too comfortable and fragile. So the strength at which the nation was founded, maintained, and grown to be a great nation, when that got so comfortable and good and they had comfort and security, that's what was the start of the deterioration of the nation, because they got comfortable. We're partying. These walls are around our cities. We ain't got nothing to worry about. And so it's not them, but their kids, and their kids are more fragile, to where a certain generation, they don't even know how to defend their castle. They don't even know how. So most times nations just walk in and take it.
Wolf talk.
So if you think about how Babylon got taken down, or any of the great nations got taken down, I won't say Rome because the Ottomans had to fight for that shit, but you look at how the Moors, when they crossed over the water and took over those parts of Spain, they just walked and took it. Nobody even put up a fight. Because, so if you look at the U.S. in terms of how the conservatives think, there's parts of how they think I fuck with them, because I know, they know, and I know that if we're deteriorating as a society, it's coming from becoming more and more fragile and sensitive. Ow, that hurts. Ow, that hurts. Ow, that hurts. So then over time, they won't even have the strength to defend. They won't even have the guts to defend anything. And no nation can stand without being able to defend.
And please don't mix soft with straight or gay. That's just I don't mix those two together. Don't mix those two together. I know the most feminine gay dude I've ever met in my life, a Latino man, super feminine, super strong, super strong. And he was raised in a family that said, hey, you got responsibilities, you got to live up to them. And then I know some men who are masculine as all outdoors, love women, super soft, super soft. I'm talking about if I sneeze, they're going to fall down soft. Go on next one.
Our cultural values almost try to make us dependent on validation.
Wait a minute, so read that first one, because this is its equal to enemy. I think somebody, did I hear Black Lives Matter sound in the background? Read that first one again.
Our cultural values almost try to make us dependent on validation.
Do you mean that this whole social justice movement on black people is some bullshit, some egotistical shit? And the reason that it's working amongst us because ultimately we don't feel like we're good enough and we're plagued by being egotistic. And so now the Black Lives Matter sounds kind of sexy to our ears. Is that what that's kind of implying? I mean, it didn't say all that, but you know me, my vision's kind of fucked up. Can you read that one more time?
Our cultural values almost try to make us dependent on validation, entitled, and ruled by our emotions.
That's that social media shit too. Our values. Do you understand how deep and how important the word value is, right? It's not preference, what we like. It's our value. Values are core. It means that's part of how we're built. That's the formula in which it makes us up. And if that is dependent on outside validations, we slaves anyway.
Ooh, hey. I didn't know where he's going, but that shit was fucking fire. Hey, okay, y'all at home, take that little keyboard or the mouse and just move that back again and just let that shit play one more time. Or mark the time, right? Take a pencil and paper, mark what time he said that shit, and just go over that again. That was fucking fire. If we were talking, if the intention is freedom, the ego is not going. That's not going to be our ego is going to be our enemy. It's not going to be our friend. That's why I'm trying to get with this. Like this stuff we're trying to get. Look, the ego's enemy is to help free you up and live the life that was intended for you. Like, whether you believe in God or not, I'm not even a Christian, but I rock with all my Christian family. And I like the Bible a lot. I think it's truth. I never judge. I think the Quran is truth. That's just my personal position. Please forgive me. I don't mean to offend you. That's how it is. But in Christianity, let me say this real quick. All this talk about humility. You thought it was to break you down, make you soft? It was to help empower. It's a language of the wolves. The language we're giving you is a language of the wolves. This is not a weak language. We're not teaching you to be humble and lower your ego because in the end you got to be submissive to the unknown. We're talking about empowering you to move through this world because when you arrogant about your ignorance. Meaning that you are locking your ignorance, you solidifying your ignorance. You are literally digging pillars into the ground to create a foundation for your ignorance. We're trying to make you mobile, impactful, swift, powerful. And so this whole culture we're in is anti-business, anti-building, anti-solving our problems, anti-thinking. Do you notice how fast the answers come out of the social justice movement? Oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. Okay, join an organization that has to study another culture and tell me if they can find any answer that fucking fast. There's no such thing. Humans are too fucking complex. There's no such thing as a simple ass answer. When it comes to human beings, if somebody goes, you know what a simple answer, what the simple problem with people are? There is no such thing. No such thing. So when social justice comes up with these fast ass, quick ass solutions, like he said, you're following an idea by itself. By the way it was produced, is automatically flawed. So when Nana comes along and be like, fuck social justice, y'all think I'm just on some old, I don't know what y'all think I am, but y'all think I'm on some shit. And I'm trying to say to you, like, hey, we're about to teach you how to build a business. You're going to have to take all that social justice shit and leave it outside. Take that shit like it's muddy. Leave it outside. And then go in the house and build some new shit and think totally different. And it does, and here's the thing. The things we're talking about is really solving these problems. Look, how do we remove police brutality? Be able to pay for our own police. That's simple as fuck.
Shit.
That solves the problem right there. Let the best minds who can build the best build a police system that we pay for. Police brutality is addressed. But if you're saying, you know, they're gonna need to learn, they should. Guess what? That's a kind of the distortion. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, your report card is your bank account. Or in other terms, if you're marketing or advertising or anything, or you're putting yourself out there, you're graded by your conversion rates. So your focus is conversion. How do I convert customers? So if you get 100 likes, what percentage of those customers went and bought something? So your goal is, if you liking my shit, how come you're not sharing it? If you sharing my shit, how come you're not buying it? And that's how you back into that. And then you figure out a conversion rate. So if 100 people like your shit and 3 people end up buying it, you have a 3% conversion rate. So now you got something to work with. But the likes, the social currency you're trying to gain, unless you're trying to gain social currency to improve and increase your conversion rates, now you fucking with strategy. But you're not. You're doing it for different reasons. You're not doing it for yourself.
Keep reading that. Keep going.
For a generation, parents and teachers have focused on building up everyone's self-esteem. From there, the themes of our gurus and public figures have been almost exclusively aimed at inspiring, encouraging, and assuring us that we can do whatever we set our minds to.
So now you guys see where the self-help books are the worst. Because that's all they did. If you just follow these 7 steps, I became, look, I'm a little guy from Kentucky. I ain't had that much money. I was raised by just my uncle. And if I can do it, you can do it too. You know what I just did not tell you? Everything. Like literally, I just took your money on inspiration. And you know why you like the way I spoke? It's because your teachers primed you for me. You were primed. You've been primed your whole life for inspiration. So when Les Brown came around, you was like, man, that's powerful. What did he teach you? Nothing. Nothing. So the reality is that this is why you have a love for inspiration. That's why sitting down learning seems boring. Inspire me, Nana. Make me laugh. Tell me I'm the greatest, and I'll listen to you. Tell me you love us as black men and black women. Tell us that you just would drink our water. Yes, and I will donate. That's all I want. And you wonder why at the end of the day, pay attention to the game. I've been fortunate to be here on this earth for over 50 years. When it comes to business, I haven't seen much change, but I've seen a lot of emotional changes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That lets me know, oh shit, we've fallen for the okie doke with all these little speeches of inspiration and you can be somebody and like if you just jump off the cliff, I'm telling you, you just jump off that cliff, your wings will spread and you will never hit the bottom. That shit was deep, yo. I love what he said. It was real. Shit sucks.
Hey, Tone Vic used to come fuck with me. He would come have lunch with me at the office. And we meet and he tell me what's going on and I'm like, hey, it boils down to like, bro, you acting soft. And he's like, no, that's not it. No, because and I'm like, all right, cool. That's what's up. And then he's like, all right, well, I got a different problem. And then we talk about it and I'm like, hey, it still boils. You took a left down the street and then you came back to the same soft street. No, man. But, all right, Court, thanks for meeting. I had a nice time. Like, no, bro, don't run. No, let's sit in here and talk about it because it's shit nobody wants to talk about, and you kind of don't want to hear. But I believe in you. I know you got hella the tools, but let's get past this part. And we kept doing it to where it's like, all right. Right when I got to the part about the soft shit, he'd be like, man, all right, I'm out, Court. Then he starts staying. And then we start having the conversations about it. And then we start being longer and longer and conversating and breaking it down and understanding. And then that's like, then he starts seeing his own breakthroughs in that regard. But that's shit that nobody want to tell you. Because nobody want to say that shit. But that's most of where our biggest barriers is fear. It's not just him, it's all of us humans. The limitations in our success comes back to where we're afraid of, where we're weak at. And so if we don't address it because our ego is running around it and don't want to admit it or see it, then we're going to forever be stuck in that same rat race. And we're going to go around, down, up the block, and then we're going to always end up back at that same ass street.
So let's read that. You want to read that one? Because we ain't got to that one yet.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay, bro. I was like, you're on the next slide already. Go ahead. Finish. Go and read it, though.
In reality, this makes us weak. Yes, you, with all your talent and promise as a boy wonder or a girl who's going places. We take it for granted that you have promise. It's why you've landed in the prestigious university you now attend, why you've secured the funding you have for your business, why you've been hired or promoted, why whatever opportunity you now have has fallen into your lap. As Irvin Berlin put it, talent is only the starting point. The question is, will you be able to make the most of it? Or will you be your own worst enemy? Will you snuff out the flame that is just getting going?
So you can almost see this in comment every the American. They get this position title, they stop reading, they stop learning, they stop practicing. They don't join groups. They continue to grow. They don't challenge themselves. They don't find friends who challenge them. They find friends who celebrate them or people who compliment them. And so what happens is you become weak because you start to think you really are the shit. And you don't realize that some things you were fortunate to receive doesn't mean you've earned that right. Or the people who are judging you weren't really qualified to judge you. So if, let's say, you left college and you was voted the most intelligent person in the school, look at the people who voted you the most intelligent person in school. Who the fuck are they? What does it mean? What's the value they have? What are they putting in your pockets? Like you said, your report card is your bank account. It is not what people are saying about you. That's why social media has very low value to me, because social media is cool if you want to see how somebody's doing, or you want to check in on somebody, or you want to see what happened at this party, this event, and get a kind of a quick snapshot of that event. But please don't use social media to validate yourself. There's no value there, none. Because when people give you a like and tell you hot, you dope, you powerful, I always knew you're gonna be amazing, they're not coming from a space of deep assessment analysis. It's observation from a distance, meaning that what they really do is projecting their thoughts onto you, not receiving you. Next one.
One might say that the ability to evaluate one's own ability is the most important skill of all. Without
Awareness.
it,
Stop real quick. That's that awareness we've been talking about. That deep awareness. And when we say awareness, you think because you saw the sun come up today and the moon come out this evening, and you can see when the door opened and when it closed. You can see when your friends make mistakes. You can see when a business made a bad decision. You have awareness. The thing you don't have awareness of is yourself. So let's do it again. So go take it from the top.
one might say that the ability to evaluate one's own ability is the most important skill of all. Without it, improvement is impossible. And certainly ego makes it difficult every step of the way.
So, a lot of times you see shit posted on social media, Facebook, Instagram, from business owners to be like, see, that's the problem with the Bay Area, or insert whatever city you live in. They don't fuck with their own people. They ain't fucking with me, blah, blah, blah. No. You got to take that as an observation and get better. If your people around you, like the people that you want to buy your product, that says just as much as the people who buy your product, the people who ain't. So if you're offended by that, then get better. Get better. If your partners or your friends or people that you respect ain't rushing to be like, hey, I need that new shit, then that's an internal thing. But most of the time, our egos can't even fathom that. So what we do is we revert to they hating, or black people can't work together. We can't get together. No, black folks are buying shit. They just not buying your shit.
Because you ain't shit.
It is certainly more pleasurable to focus on our talents and strengths, but where does that get us? Arrogance and self-absorption inhibit growth. So does fantasy and vision. In this phase, you must practice seeing yourself with a little distance, cultivating the ability to get out of your own head.
This right here will save you so much money, improve your decision-making strategies, will actually make you a lot of money in your lifetime. And I think he said it, and I think the way it's framed in this sentence may undermine the power which has been said. When you start a business, it is so easy for you to be victimized by your own passion. So you develop a tunnel, right? You get so focused on the problem, so focused on the opportunity, so focused on what's happening that day, you can easily tunnel. because you're really going through your ego in your examination of your surroundings. And quite often, if you're around a team that does something really, really well, you get so focused on what you do well and the problem that you egotistically become blind to the bigger picture, which requires you to have a broader view. This is not an easy skill to develop. If you develop the skill of being able to step back and see yourself and separate the you in the moment to you, the witnessing of you as a separate, it's something you can develop. This is something you mentally can develop. You can catch yourself faster. You can even prevent a lot of bad mistakes, and you can gain superpowers. Where we go wrong is we get so engaged and so caught up in stuff, and our ego kind of locks us into that communication. If you're in a business meeting, we okay? Huh? Okay. If we're in a business meeting, please, whatever it is, leave it alone. We're in a business meeting. Oh, the blue light went out? Yeah. Oh, okay. Was it plugged in?
It's plugged in. It's something to do with the light bulb. So.
Okay, well, just fuck it. We're almost done anyway. But let's say you're in a business meeting and something goes south. If you don't have the ability to pull out of your tunnel, you can become directly engaged. Now, if I'm manipulating you, I can start to push some of your triggers. Let's say I'm in a meeting and I really don't want you to hire your company because I have a partner I want to get hired, right? This happens all the time. So while you're in the meeting, I try to trigger you to show a lack of discipline, poor customer service, or hostile behavior. Now, if you don't have the ability to separate yourself, I got you every time. Because you hear what I say, you respond. You hear what I say, respond. Before you know, you fucked. Mm-hmm. But if you say something, somebody says something, and you have this, you learn to breathe, go cold, I go to that another day. Process it, separate from yourself, see yourself in a meeting, analyze it, and then respond, you're dangerous. Because you can make a fool, you can expose a fool for his foolish behavior while you have an intelligent conversation with somebody and never be scratched. But if you don't know how to do this thing here, which is practicing yourself with a little distance, cultivating the ability to get out of your own head, that right there is the foundation of good negotiation skills. I negotiate for a lot of money in business. Rarely do I negotiate under 100 grand. When I'm negotiating, I have to make sure that I have to come out of my own head. I'm a poor kid from East Oakland. Scarcity can sneak into my head really fast. Not feel like you're good enough can sneak in my head really fast. Fuck this dude can sneak in my head really fast, right? I got to make sure that all those things is trying to undermine my ability to make the best decision and come out on top. Or let's say you're in a discussion. I'll give you even more details. You're in a discussion, you're like, oh, they just trying to give me this much money. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do B. When there's a hidden C or D, and you can't see it because you're so caught up in it. And then you get home and you realize, oh, shit, I could have just said this and took up somewhere else and took this conversation to another level and walked away with 10 times as much. But instead, you got locked in B, thinking that, oh, because you handled B, you made your B argument so well, you won, not realizing, no, you tunneled, you lost. This one here is a long-term goal. You're gonna fuck up a lot, but you gotta practice. Like I'm talking about even in your okay. Entrepreneurs, stop practicing when you're at the conference table, but not practicing when you're at the kitchen table. Practice at all times, even at the kitchen table. You're at the kitchen table. You're in negotiations with your family. Practice separating yourself. Practice watching your emotions. When you're on the basketball court, when you were at the gym, watch your emotions. Practice all the time. So when you're in that office and you get that crazy racist person who's trying to hide their systemic racism in the way they're showing up with you, you can call that shit out so smooth and get them. But you'll never win those battles if you can't separate yourself from yourself. And trust me, it's something I practice. I would say I'm 80% tight, 20% weak. There's certain times like I didn't eat well or I didn't drink enough water, I didn't sleep well, I don't like the way I show up because I can't make that separation. But if I eat well and I sleep well and I go to negotiation and I'm drinking water, oh, you best bring your A game. I've even told people, listen, before I negotiate with you, are you a professional negotiator? Because if you're not, it may not work out well for you. I'm going to get you for more than you intended on spending. So I suggest, now mind you, that's a bold ass comment, but I know I'm so motherfucking good when I'm on top of my game, I can say that shit to your face and still take you and you will not question it when I walk out the room. That's how cold you can be. But it requires for that huge separation. That's a powerful nugget that it's going to take a long time to develop. I don't like when people try to say like, oh, you just separate yourself. That's all you need to do. It may take 5 to 10 years to get this game down. But when you get it down, like you literally, remember I said, I think a couple weeks ago, I said, look, who you are, make sure you stay who you are. And like if you walk into a room, don't let people dictate who you're going to become. Don't become a different person based upon the room you walk in. Stay that same person. Because what you're trying to gain is control of self, self-awareness, and be able to control self in the middle of a discussion so you can control your outcome that you desire. Now, the strategy may not work, but at least you're comfortable because you implemented the strategy and you saw the different angles while you were in the discussion. The worst thing in the world is to go in a discussion, become a wildcat, say all the emotional shit you could think of, walk out of this shit, get home in hindsight, and realize you fucked yourself over.
Best time to practice this is if you have an ex and you guys share a child. Woo-hoo. This game is so valuable, and that's how you can test yourself. Is how is my relationship going with my ex in our negotiation with our child? If your baby mama or baby daddy, if you still on that, man, this bitch is crazy, I can't stand her, or if she like this dude, I hate him, and you don't have him or her in a space where you guys are working through your shit and it's amicable, then you got more work to do with it. This game works perfectly for that. So then once you get good at that game and you start mastering that game, the negotiating table is not as hard because there's no love connection involved. There's no emotions. There's no triggering involved. They can't push your buttons yet because they don't know all of your buttons. They only may know the ones they see on the surface. That's where this is perfect at. That's where you could practice and keep getting better. You could practice with your child.
Oh, that's a big one.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
And get better. Get better with your child because if they triggering you because you feel some type of way because they should be acting this way, all this is preparing you for those negotiations.
Shit, Diallo is one of my trainers. Because my son has taught me it's helped me grow so much. Like I said, that awareness, self-awareness, my daughter's getting like the best version of me ever. Because like when she does things, I'm able to like totally separate the experiences and show up as a parent. Like, the other day she threw this crazy tantrum, so I put her over my shoulder so she won't hit me in the face. And I got her over my shoulder and we walk upstairs. And she's throwing a tantrum, I'm just rubbing her back. Hey, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm right here. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'm right here. And it went on for 10 minutes. She's hitting those notes where you're like, ooh, that hurt. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'm right here. Now, the younger version of me, come on now, goddammit, look here. All right, that's shit. Hey, woman, get up here. Take the baby outside or some shit. Right? That's younger me. I'm not going to lie. My ego is pretty bad. Right? I'm suggesting you guys that I practice all the time with my loved ones. Right? Now, mind you, I don't let people abuse me. If you just get too much, I just shut down, stop talking, and walk out the room. I'm not going to tell you off. What the fuck I'm telling you off for? You mentally damaged. What am I going to do? You like schizophrenia ain't helped by my words. You know what I mean? Or trauma ain't going to be changed because I said, fuck you. You be like, oh, my trauma feels better. I'm back. Okay, now I can talk to you now. I realize if you're too traumatic to talk to, I'll leave you there in that room. But you don't realize that every opportunity, when you at the fucking Great America with your kids or at a festival, or that is time to practice these fucking skills. Stop waiting to like, when I get to the office, I'm going to practice. No, you're going to suck. Get your reps in and with your loved ones, the people you're dating. Like work on yourself. And then like when you make a comment to your loved one, they frown or get mad, reflect. Go, what could I have done better on that situation? Don't go into that self-righteous armor. You know what? I wouldn't have to say it if you wouldn't keep fucking up so goddamn much. Like, honestly, all this shit is an opportunity to grow. And I promise you, like, you practice this shit when you get in negotiations, it's almost like you're a superstar. What tangle you go? What kind of problem you gonna try to tangle me up with today? Because watch me just unravel this shit. Because you're in a space where you learn to separate. Just hit this last one real quick, then I think we're gonna. Okay, we'll hit 2 more, then we're gonna get up out of here. Let's go.
It's easy to be emotionally invested and infatuated with your own work.
Wait. Are we in E-Myth or are we in Eagles of Enemy? Say it again. Because remember I told you it's the same book. Read that one sentence again, because I'm not sure which book are we in Eagle, computer people? Are we in Eagles of Enemy or emotional, E-Myth or emotional Julia? What book we in? E-Myth or what book we in right now? Is this E-Myth? Oh, this Eagles of Enemy. Okay, I just want to make sure because this sounds like E-Myth. Could you read that one paragraph for me again, please?
It's easy to be emotionally invested and infatuated with your own work.
Please, in the audience, turn to your neighbor and say, he's talking to you. So listen. Listen. Y'all see how this ego shit is so cold in business? There's a business book. There's an excellent business book that we're going through called E-Myth. And it says it's easy to be emotionally invested and infatuated with your own work. And he said, if you want to be successful in business, you got to start focusing on what you want to do as an entrepreneur and focus on what the customer wants. But it's so easy. This is where that ego shit, and where does ego come from? It's a symptom of feeling like you're not good enough. Now, last time I checked, don't you do it. I know you was close. I know he looks a little bit like him, but he was going to go there. But point is this. People who's told that they're nothing but minorities, and every time they try to climb the top, they got the rug pulled from them historically. And their ancestors passed down to them that, hey, every time we try, there's always been this white system that has undermined our full capabilities and possibilities. Truth or not, but it's branded in our mind. So we kind of play the game just to be in, not to win. Just to survive and be safe. Just to feed our kids. We're not playing this game to change the game. We're playing this game just to survive. Well, a symptom of that behavior is you're going to develop an ego. So when you run your business, guess what's going to happen? It's easy to be emotionally invested and infatuated with your own work. That is the nature of what's happening to black people. That's why we're not seeing enough high rises. That's why most of us have never imagined retiring working for a black organization. Because at the end of the day, black people are dealing with a disease of self-infatuation, ego. Let's keep rolling.
Any and every narcissist can do that.
Woo! What do you say? Our narcissist? Go ahead, keep going.
What is rare is not raw talent, skill, or even confidence, but humility, diligence, and self-awareness.
Did he say big chest? She didn't say big chest. Did it say gangsterism? Did it say pimping and playing and macking? Did it say strong, powerful, don't need nobody? Did it say independent? Did it say that equality? Maybe? Did it say equality? Did they say pronouns? Did they say anything like that? No. I don't see. Did it say destruction of the white man is necessary for success? Did it say that division of races? Did it say that? Did it say floss? Oh, it said flossing? Oh, shit, it didn't say flossing, huh?
It didn't.
Ain't that something? Could you read that last part one more time? Because you know me, I went to Castlemont, systemic racism. So sometimes words do kind of change. I got mixed lexia. Things mix up all the time. Go, let's try it again.
Okay. Any and every narcissist can do that. What is rare is not raw talent, skill, or even confidence, but humility, diligence, and self-awareness.
Self-awareness. Self-awareness is so beautiful. Self-awareness is like having 20/20 vision of yourself. So where am I? When you have self-awareness, the ability to be able to call yourself out or to say, what position am I playing in this situation? Where am I? That place can make you powerful because you can see yourself in ways most people can't. Because you can say, damn, I'm really not shit right now. Or that's a D or F. Or man, I'm at 20% right now. Or fuck, I'm buried. I'm buried. Because sometimes, so like when you can call yourself out with clarity, man, that you're like a UFO. You're not like an airplane. Airplane it has to take off slow and go, and then to go in a circle, it has to fly straight and just curve until it flies straight and land straight. When you have self-awareness, you're like a UFO. You can make changes on a dime. You can make changes on a dime because you get clear about where you are, and that's how you can improve rapidly. Have you ever been around somebody where you both started maybe a job on the same day, and in 3 months they was running circles around that whole motherfucking building? It's 9 times out of 10 they had a humble spirit, which means they were willing to be the dumbest person in the room, and they were okay with it because they knew they could grow. And their self-awareness was crazy. That's what we practice. You'll never go broke with these 4 tools. You'll never go broke. You'll never be broke when you have, because talent, skill, confidence, that shit can be replaced. That could be replaced. Self-awareness, hey, Nana, tell what's going on. What do you see? And if I trust this brother because I know he's so self-aware and he's not coming from a space of ego, he's not coming from a place of competition with me, it's just straight, raw awareness, man, that's invaluable. Hey, you fucking up, bro. You fucking up. How? What? Bro, you buried, bro. What you mean? I'm working so hard. Man, look, you're buried because this is not. Oh, shit, that's right. Shit, that's clear. Because all psychiatrists and psychologists will agree on this one thing. Awareness by itself can be curative, depending on your IQ. So sometimes you can just be aware of some stuff and be cured. That's why this self-awareness is so important.
Next one, please.
For your work to have truth in it, it must come from truth. If you want to be more than a flash in the pan, you must be prepared to focus on the long term.
I think we hit that one. Go to the next one. Just go to the next one. This is the one I think I'm going to walk out of here on. This the one right here. Mm-hmm.
We will learn that though we think big, we must act and live small in order to accomplish what we seek.
Okay, can you say that again? Because once again, you know that mixed lexia, I want to mix some words in there that don't make no sense, right? So I want to make sure we're on point and I'm in alignment with where you going. You understand me? So let's try this one more time. We will
learn that though we think big, we must act and live small in order to accomplish what we seek.
You know, there's somebody right now, they done turn the computer off, poor soul. And if I call them on the phone, they're going to say, well, none of the power went out. That's what they're going to say. They don't tell me something like that. Or I couldn't find the plug for my Mac. You understand me? Because they're sitting outside and looking out, they're in their apartment by the lake or something like that maybe. They see that Benz outside that they're paying on. They look at their closet and they got every brand name. They don't even fuck around with Target J. They got the high-end brand names, you understand me? The shit that Macy's barely carry. They got shoes they can't even wear because it hurts their feet, but they got them. They go to parties, you know, that Essence type shit. You know, they there. And they flossing. Don't get, you understand me? Huh? I think they just came out and they said that they were talking about the systemic racism of buying houses. And the average white family can save between 5 to 9 years and have enough money for 5%. The black family's at 15%. We can do a lot more if we can learn to bring our ego down, because the ego is hijacking our money. Also, remember that phrase I said a couple of weeks ago? I deserve this. I deserve this. Let's try this word again. I deserve this. That phrase is egotistical as fuck. What do we seek in life? You know, it's like When you're chasing goods, it's no different than getting high every motherfucking day. You're trying to escape and find happiness through a drug that you never get there. You're a donkey chasing the carrot that you will never catch. Now, true happiness is what you seek, and you're very clear. You have a vision. Uh-oh. Is this E-Myth again? Josh, you got to start switching books on me, man, because, I told you I'm mixed dyslexia. What is this? And so, you have a vision, and you want to go somewhere. But you're never going to get there if you're trying to play big on the way there. You're trying to be a CEO in day one. No, you're a technician. You don't give yourself a title, call yourself a technician. Just at least be honest. Don't sit there and call yourself a CEO. You don't even know what the fucking word means anymore. So it's like, I don't think we really understand why we spend all this energy and time trying to uphold the image. The ideas of that is stealing from you. So let me take it down to the real world. When I started 510 Media, I had cut down my cost of living down to $1,500 a month. I think at one point I was down to $1,000 a month. Yeah, I'm up there now, but at the time I was down to $1,000 a month. You know what that did? That means in the history of 510 Media, guess how many loans I took out? Guess how many people I owe? And guess how my books look? Right? Why? Because in the end, I live small. Here's the funny part. I realized that the things I found joy in was really the small shit. See, when you wear that, I got some custom-made suits. I spent some money on them suits. How often do I wear them suits? I don't wear them every fucking day. I wear these sweats every fucking day. I wear my jeans every fucking day, right? What I found is that people is where my joy comes from. Those items was to raise my status with people, but when you realize if you invest in self, that's the fastest ways to raise your status with other people, how you show up to other people. You keep your word. Like I have a partner named Juan. Juan could call me right now and say, Nana, I'm going through something, and I need $2,000 to pay my rent. I won't even ask him any questions. He has the freedom to tell me when he wants to pay me back. Because the way he shows up in my life is so consistent that I have deep, deep love for him. I got another partner who got all kind of shit. I wouldn't loan him a piece of chalk. I swear to God I wouldn't. I wouldn't loan him shit. And the cold part, he could pay it back, but he ain't shit. Because he ain't self-invested. But he got nice shit, though. He got some nice shit. But he ain't shit. Why is he ain't shit? Because he's not investing in himself. He's hard to talk to. He's as inconsistent as they come. I have more enjoyment watching a kid excited to go to a park after 10 years than watching him do some shit. Because he just be all over the place. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do. Because his values are all fucked up. I'm saying to you people, when you play small, it gives you mobility. Okay, let me talk business language. It's optionality. In business, you should always manage your optionality. You never manage a business where you're trapped to only make one decision. You always increase multiple. You design your life to have multiple options. By increasing your optionality, you become a much greater, much more powerful business person. That's why even when somebody tries to trap you into a decision, you always flex to regain optionality. The power of this game, your whole life, your happiness depends on optionality. When you understand the game of optionality, you realize that you have to have multiple options. By spinning high and trying to go somewhere or by trying to play a role, you're removing optionality. When you remove optionality, you're destroying your decision making. That's business talk. Ego talk, you need to cut that shit out. Keep going. And you ain't shit. Keep going.
Because we will be action and education focused and forego validation and status, our ambition will not be grandiose but iterative, one foot in front of the other, learning and growing and putting in the time.
Hey, so let's merge E-Myth real quick with this, because it's the same.
It's the same book, I told y'all.
It's the same. So you have an entrepreneur, a manager, and a technician. Entrepreneur comes up with a vision. Manager, and so when you create your what they call that, your map of who's going to be in all those roles, it may just be you, right? But you still create your vision, and then the manager manages the technician, and then then once you're done creating the overall vision, then you put yourself back in that technician role and you start working step by step, foot by foot. The difference is you're operating as a technician in this moment, but you're not the technician. Because the minute the business grows, now you step up and you be a manager. And the minute now you get to be an entrepreneur full time, but you got to start at that baby step, which is saying the same thing this book is saying, which why they interact and merge with each other in such a dope way.
And here's another thing too, is like, when you're focused on the image, it's the outcome over the process. So you're focused on being the man, not focused on the education of becoming the man. You're focused on being a man. You're not focused, and you love the status of being a man as opposed to the required humble process of becoming the man. And like, yes, anybody can become. I don't have a problem with you wanting to become the man. Whatever that is to you. That's a wide open, subjective phrase. It's not. There's no such thing as the man, right? But whatever that is, what you have to do in order to arrive there or achieve this particular goal is understand that the goal. Quite often, once you get there, you won't even know you're there. You feel so much in love with the process that the process is what's making you dope, and that's what you fell in love with. Once you get there, it almost becomes irrelevant because you're already on to something bigger or greater or more impact, or you've expanded your vision, right? But when you're focused on the image, sometimes the image in itself is the glass ceiling. Because it almost makes you tunnel on the idea of just being this. You walk around, be this. You don't even see other opportunities that's put in front of you. I've had people negotiate with me and cut off their nose to smite their face because they were locked in on the idea of who they wanted to be, not what was possible. Like, have you seen, have you ever had a kid and they're arguing with you about something? You're like, yeah, but I'm trying to give you something better. But they so focused on what they want, they can't see something better over here. We will do that every day in all of our decision making, where we won't see opportunities because we get locked in the story we tell ourselves, what it should be, what it's supposed to be. And really, that story is only in your head, it's only validated by the customer. It's only validated by the customer. And so quite often we get caught up in these, I want to be the dopest, greatest, best, tightest, strongest, most focused, and don't realize, yeah, but if you want to be that, stop being that and be the things that make that. Education? Like, think about this. You can almost know, the egotistical people in the community. Y'all want to play a little sneaky game? Because I think this is the last week, right? There's no class next week, right? Is it class next week? No class next week, right? Because I told you I have dyslexia. I fuck up everything. So, okay, there's no class next week. Please do not go home and look up dyslexia. Because if you think dyslexia is a word, then the next word is going to be recidivousness, which came from his comedian. But anyway, here's the thing. Here's a sneaky game. Now, the person you need to focus on, number one, is going to be yourself. It's yourself. So if you're going out and try to talk to people about their ego, then that's probably because you got an ego. Here's the second thing. Here's a trick. Think about somebody you know that you think have a big ego. And then ask them what kind of books they're reading. And see if the books they're reading is directly aligned with what they're trying to build. And I bet you 9 times out of 10 it isn't. Now there's cases where people who have a big ego read books that are relevant but then still undermine their goals. But 9 times out of 10, most people who are making these passionate arguments about things they believe in don't read books around the things they believe in. Most people who care about social justice ain't read one historical book about building societies. Most people who care about women's rights don't know the history of women's rights at all. Most people who care about racism ain't read a motherfucking book about the history of Africans in this country as well as abroad. The books they did read was 5, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and there was one book here and there. Or it was some book that told a story about a poetry piece about why is black so deprived.
Or I know Bitcoin. Come fuck with me. I know Bitcoin and yo, how long you been studying Bitcoin? Oh, like 2 weeks. Like, don't fall for that banana in the tailpipe.
Because here's the thing. We're not telling you
ego.
just to avoid, yes, we're giving you game to avoid others, but then also pay attention when you do it. Like, do you speak, for example, if I went to court and talked to them about the clothing industry, I would say, hey, I don't know, but let me ask you, is this? Well, I think it could be this way. What do you think, court? Because that's this industry. I don't know anything about the clothing industry, right? I know about models. I'm done. Clothing industry? Nope. But where you would go wrong is like, hey, you know what you should do with your business? Are you really talking to this man who's there every day putting 10,000, 20,000 hours a year into his work? You going to walk into his life and say, you know what you need to do about your business? What? Even when I go out and consult companies, the first thing I tell companies when we consult them is like, listen, we're going to come in, we're going to help you expand your ideas and give you a wider vision and give you some insight of some things that are happening and give you some suggestions on what you can do better. But ultimately, the success of your company comes down to your decisions that you make. Because if you allow an outsider to have full strategy of your business, you're a fool. But the purpose of a consultant is not that they know more than you, is to help you stop tunneling and broaden your vision and we make better decisions. Not make the decisions for you. This is such gain, because some of you guys are hiring people like, I want to hire this person to help me out. This person is hired to help you process it. Really helping yourself out is a process you have to engage. Let's say you say, well, no, you know what? I'm a busy entrepreneur. I don't got time to figure this shit out. So I'm going to hire Josh. Let Josh come in here and figure this shit out. And I'll pay him. Josh can take you to the woodshed. Because you don't even know what the fuck he does. So you don't know if in an interview he was lying. You don't even know how to ask the proper contextual questions and even the proper responses because you don't know what the fuck he does. And you can't measure his job. And he can get he can get 2 years worth of paychecks before you realize he ain't no good, is he? So in order for you to even hire the person, you don't have to master the field. But if I had to hire Court's company, I have to study what Court does. I have to spend a few weekends, a few months, learning what Court does, interview a lot of people about what Court business does. So when I ask Court, I need to hire you, I'm very clear on what segment of the industry he services so I can hire the right person to do the right job so I can achieve the right goal. But if I just say, you know about clothes, right? Yeah. Hey, man, look, I got a whole bunch of preachers across the nation who call me to make suits for them. Can you make some suits for them? Court look at me like, dude, I make sportswear. Why the fuck you call me about suits? Well, you sew materials, right? You put the shit together. I mean, you sew better than I do. I want to hire you. This is what happens all the time in business. This is how a lot of you guys got your opportunities you have today. Because somebody hired you who didn't really know what the fuck you was supposed to be doing. And you knew you didn't have the skills. They knew you didn't have the skills. You got the job. You get the paycheck. And every day, they don't even know how to evaluate you properly besides your attitude. Because at the end of the day, they don't really know what the fuck you do. That's real game. Well, now, listen here, Mr. Entrepreneurs. Especially in this early stage, you got to become familiar with what the fuck you ask people to do. Yo, with that being said, anything y'all want? Any questions? We said we're going to say the questions to last because we come from the middle. Any questions? If y'all need to leave, you need to cut the TV off now. Those of you decided not to cut the TV on, or those of you cut the TV on and your child said, Mama, what you doing? And you was like, oh, shit, I cut it off because Nana offended me. She's like, oh, I thought you was a parent. You was like, you right, and now you back. Now if you need to go to bed, it's okay to cut it off if you don't have any questions. And just come back and listen to the Q&A afterwards. So with that being said, Shabisha, to the mic. The other mic, that's Shabisha 2. Shabisha 1's over there waiting to read another passage, but she's mad because it started Shabisha 1's pouting. So thank you, Shabisha 2, for filling for Shabisha 1. Can you give us some game? What's happening?
Danielle asked.
Who?
Danielle.
First of all,
Allen,
if we
also known as Lady D.
Hey, first of all, if you say Danielle, we should be able to change the colors of the lights. Damn, the lights went out. But we should be able to just change all kind of lights. Danielle, for those of you who must have forgot, designed the whole look and feel of 510 Media. So I want to say Queen Mother Danielle, she's not a mother, but we won't call her Queen Mother because she has birthed this program. You understand me? Queen Mother, what does Queen Mother have to say?
She said, is it better for the technician to only see what's coming down the pipeline for optimization purposes?
No. The technician needs to also own So even to be okay, let's say you decide you want to be a technician. None of those manager, technician, and entrepreneur are all three respectable roles. None of those roles are like you're just a technician. Like there's no higher. It's when you're trying to run a business, you have to stop segmenting everything and see how everything is actually synced together. As a technician, you still have to have a bigger picture of the why of the company, not just what's coming down the pipeline. Because the pipeline can often, you can seem like you're doing something that seems like it's just total contradiction from the last job. Or why are we doing this way? But if you understand the bigger picture, it all has context and it makes sense. If you're just looking at each job, you're losing context, and then you get into right and wrong, morality, good and bad, and feelings. And then that makes your job almost like miserable. When you understand the bigger picture, we may decide, let's say for Fight Team, we may decide to do a flyer. We don't do flyers. That's old shit. Danielle could do flyers. Well, she'll go to bed and wake up with the flyers in her hand because it's that easy for her, right? She don't have to remember what she did and she'll still be tight. But with that being said, what if we're doing a flyer for Obama's daughter? And what if Obama's daughter is part of a plan and a bigger agenda? Or let's say we're doing it for somebody that's nobody to you. Seems like why are we doing this damn flyer? But the big picture is that we got a play that we're going. And that person is part of a bigger picture. So you got to go beyond the job focus to where are we going with this? Because then even when you're designing, there's a theme, an idea, these principles. There's different things that's driving the view, as well as also too, when you see the bigger picture, you could know when it's time for you to go to the sideline and let the defense play. Sometimes when you look at a job to job, you think you're a basketball player, and at every time you get no breaks, so you're gonna play the full 38 minutes. There's a time when they may bring all tall dudes in, and that point guard who's 5'8" is compromising the team. So that game, I need you to sit on the bench. But if you don't know that, you'll take that sitting on the bench as a personal attack, not realizing that no, the strategy of the bigger picture is this will hurt if you play that role. So we may have to change your role because the reality is that roles are designed for everyday functionality and consistency, but sometimes those roles could be, like we might have to do some Bill Belichick sometimes and have an offensive person play a defensive role sometimes.
A good play in basketball is what we'll do sometimes is if there's a superior team, you try to find who's the DeMarcus Cousins of the team. And you sacrifice one of your players to agitate that DeMarcus Cousins. Because you know if he's a scorer and an impact player on that team and he has a volatile ego, all you got to do is fuck with him a little bit, elbow him in the stomach, do some slick shit the ref can't see and get him riled up. Next thing you know, he's pushing somebody and now he's got a tech and got to go sit down. Now you won the game. Like, that's strategy. That's way easier than playing your ass off. And if you can do that, you do it.
Annika asked this question. This was around when you were saying, I ain't shit, and being able to say that. Her question was, or not being good enough. Were you not good enough, or was your business not good enough?
Yeah, and it's still not good enough. It's never going to be good enough. It's like I'm always working. I'm comfortable saying where I want to go, I'm already not good enough. I'm good enough for where I left, but I'm not good enough for where I want to go. Me personally is good enough. God made me, I'm good, right? Because here's the thing amazing about, when you look at the human body, the design that made humans is millions of years old, right? Humans are a really old animal. But this animal is capable of adjusting to modern day challenges. That shit's amazing to me. Amazing, right? So I'm a perfect machine through God's eye. But at what I'm doing, hell no, I'm not good enough. And I never will be good enough, but that's the pleasure of it. Because if I became good enough, it probably wouldn't be the same thing for me anymore. It's like life is like, you remember when you were a kid and you walked into a toy room and there was just so many toys and blocks and all kinds of stuff you could play with, and and every time you discover something new, it was like this gift to yourself. You're like, oh my God, this was amazing, right? Business is the same thing. I'm in constant discover mode. I don't want to know it's like you're archaeologists. You're always finding new shit. And what you thought you knew before, even scientists never know. They accept they know what they know for now. Next week, a new finding will come out, and all the shit. If you ever get cocky and confident as a scientist, you're not a scientist.
Scientists don't know shit.
Scientists is always saying, we got to figure this shit out. I think there's a rule in science that says you cannot say, this is a fact. You have to say, this is what we know right now. And so in business, we want to say, I have arrived. This is where I am right now. And if I start thinking I am shit, I will start to deteriorate because I get lazy. I won't read the same no more. Like, think about this. Let's say you was a fat person all your life, and you like being a fat person because you like the food, like the drinks. You just addicted to the candy, the sweets, the sugar, and your body held together in the 20s, and you hit 30s, and all of a sudden, whoop, 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 and 40s like boop, 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 right? And now you big as shit, right? You 40. And you love that food you eat. You love the fried chicken, you love pizza, you love burgers back to back in addition to that, right? No greens, no salad. Get the tomatoes off my burger. Just give me pickles and ketchup, right? This is black people shit. And let's say you run across Court and Court eating fish and drinking water and eating hella vegetables. That's how Court eats. He's clean as fuck. He's way cleaner than I do. And somehow Court puts the game on you. Whoop, 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 whoop. And before you know it, you drop your weight. If you start to think once you drop your weight, yep, all right, I'm here now. I'm good. Woo, I'm tight. And you start walking around, half-cut shirts, if you're a woman, or if you're that type of dude, and you walk around showing off your muscles, you over there greasing your elbows with baby oil. I had to say elbow, because if I said anything else, I think Irk would have got me. But what is this? You grease your elbows with baby oil. As you fall in love with your body, but you don't fall in love with the process, that's going to slip away from you. You have to fall in love with, you always will be maintaining, chasing, improving. And here's the thing, the workouts that you did in your 20s don't work in your 30s. The workout you did in your 30s don't work in your 40s. The eating habits you had in your 20s don't work in your 30s. The eating habits you had in your 30s don't work in your 40s. Eating habits you had in your 40s don't work in your 50s. Eating habits you had in your 50s don't work in your... Every decade, your workout and your diet has to change. That means you got to constantly keep growing and adjusting towards age, diseases, challenges, work schedules, children, family, meaning that there is no even coast to staying the same. You never land somewhere. So in your mind, we harshly say, you ain't shit. Not because we want you to say it that harshly, but if I start doing video tomorrow, Dre does video. Dre will smoke me with video. Once again, if he woke up, the video that was in his hand when he wakes up, it's going to be 100 times better than anything I could have did with full concentration right now, right? So if I say instantly out the gate, I ain't shit, that means I'm not going to waste time just making videos going, what, y'all like mine more than you like Dre's? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And I'm like, well, you know what, fuck, I'm going to go to business. I don't give a fuck what Dre say. I don't give a fuck what Court, Marquita say. I'm about to open up my video business. And they get mad. Hold on, I'm keeping it. You can't stop me. And you get mad because, you can't stop me. Yeah, I can. But you get mad because you say to yourself, oh, these people hating on me, right? I won't even engage people. I won't even make an announcement. I'm not even post my video on the internet and be like, yo, you see this video I did last week when I was out with Marquita? Marquita was like my motto. She was doing a turnaround smile with the cornbread she didn't share. No, I don't do none of that shit, right? What I would do is this. I will put my head down and I start practicing. And I keep practicing. And I keep practicing until somebody acknowledges that, damn, I want to spend money on your product. That's the difference. And during that whole time I'm practicing, Court can walk in the house right now, and I'm working on a video piece that I shot with Marquita, making that cornbread I couldn't have none of. And as I'm looking at it, as I'm shooting, he's like, yo, that's a dope-ass shot of the cornbread, blueberry that is, that she didn't share with you, right? Because I'm just feeling sensitive right now. I just got to let that out. But the point is this, I'm walking in my truth. You understand? I'm walking in my truth. In order for truth to work, you got to walk in your truth. But anyway, that's the great Brownie taught me that wisdom. But anyway, and so the thing is that if Court says, man, that video's hella tight, you know what I'm saying to Court? No, this ain't shit. You see what I just did? I'm still humble. I'm still humble. Now, let's say I'm growing my business and I get a run, and people buying my shit. Like Donna, Court comes over my house, he's like, Nana, I love this mansion, bruh. This shit's tight, bruh. What you say about your video now? It ain't shit, bruh. What do you mean it ain't shit? Because at a certain point, the market's gonna get used to this and they want something different. So I need to be already practicing what the next thing is. So I can't bake in this success. I gotta get ready for the next challenge. So if I get over here and get locked into what you just said about me, I'm over here trying to flaunt this. I'm wearing t-shirts. I'm doing videos. I'm trying to design social justice videos to show how tight I am. Just had to throw that in there real quick. Point is this, I still ain't shit. But if I say I ain't shit, I never let the feedback become a blindness to me. You see what's going on here? So I keep saying, this ain't shit. Because I believe I can do greater. It's not perfectionism. Perfectionism is I do a video and it never comes out because I'm too busy trying to make it perfect. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I hit something, I release it, the public loves it, or whatever, and I'm already on to the next thing. I'm already training myself to be better than I was before. I am not going to duplicate the art I did last time. I'm not going to become Spike Lee. Spike Lee work reaps of a lot of ego. Now, I'm not saying he has ego with his latest pieces, but for a long time, Spike Lee looked nothing different. Just like Tyler Perry for a long time, didn't look like anything different. Right? And so what I'm saying is that as you grow, you realize what's next for me. And we know artists that you like, okay. I mean, you know, how many artists we know that they're the top artists in the game? Look at Michael Jackson. He never just kept the same off-the-wall album back to back to back. He was evolving, becoming greater, becoming better. Prince, better, greater. Shit, even Luther Vandross. You go back to his beginning of his career to where he landed before when he died. That man evolved like a motherfucker. And then you got some artists who just, you know, they come out the next album, you're like, this is the last album, dog. It's the same motherfucking album. Not style. Like, you know, like Drake has a similar style, but he's evolving. Jay-Z had to evolve. Jay-Z still sounds the same, but he's evolving, right? We're talking about the artists when they come out the next album. You can damn near put the songs back to back to back, and your child be like, that's the same artist, huh? Yes, it's the same shit. Nothing's different. You have to evolve. I ain't shit. I say that phrase all the time. Let me restructure it. I have no loyalty to what I know until it serves my absolute interest.
Yes,
That
sir.
means that keeps me on a constant. I have no loyalty. If Court comes to me tomorrow and be like, yo, I think Fight TV is fucking up here, I need to know what the fuck he means. I want to inquire that question. And then I'm going to have a secondary, I'm going to explore this idea because I'm not going to let my emotions dictate the response to his question.
That was it.
I ain't shit. Anybody else want to come up before we leave and close out? I'm not going to tell you you ain't shit if you have something to say. All right, we good? Everybody's good? Everybody's good? Huh? Okay, well, I was going to say that to you anyway. You ain't shit. All right, that being said, hey, listen, we're going to post some new homework to everybody. I'm going to post a couple of videos. I think we may let you guys start another book soon. It's going to be a minute before we finish E-Myth and Eagle's the Enemy, but I want you guys to learn how to think in numbers soon. Or we might just wait till we get to emotional agility and do factfulness and emotional agility together. That way it kind of makes sense. It'd be a nice balance. So with that being said, look, y'all, have a good weekend. Don't let the media steal your power. Let's do this again. If you're depressed at home right now, if you find yourself smoking more weed than you usually smoke, if you drink a little bit heavier, if you're having arguments with your loved ones, and you're watching a lot of social media news and TV and watching reports, don't let other people steal your focus. We're losing soldiers in the game, but we still got a war to win. So with that being said, take care of yourself, love yourself. See y'all next week. Peace.